In this clip, what we're going to do is apply some texture to the basic harmonisation that we worked out in the previous tutorial. We looked at textures before. We looked at a vocal texture and an alternative keyboard texture. I'm going to start with the alternative keyboard texture. So we've got the melody at the top here, and we're going to take the chords that we worked out using our top-down method, and we're going to use the second and third notes down to create a kind of semiquaver texture. So I'm going to start off with that rest. As you remember, we did this before. I'm going to make that note a D, that's the middle note here, B, bottom note, and then back up to a D. And I'm going to do that for each of the chords. I'll move that rest down a bit to make it a bit neater. F sharp, D, which is my semiquaver, F sharp, oops. So you can see how I'm just following through. I've got the A for this chord here. It's going to be the D is the next note, not that D, the lower D, and the upper A. So following through the pattern, C at the top, A, D, A. And that should be a rest, and G, D, G, and here G, C, G, lower C, upper G, and I'm just going to do a little pattern here with a neighbour tone G, oops. There we have it, just a little pattern to finish off the chord at the end there. So that's just taking the notes that we have in the original and applying a little texture to make it a little bit more pianistic. So let's have a listen to it. Okay, so we've got that. So that's our adaptive keyboard texture. What we're now going to do is apply an SATB texture to it, just to see how that works out. So just give me a moment to take that notes out. So there we have it. So we had a keyboard texture which works absolutely fine. Let's see what happens when we take the notes and just transcribe them onto an SATB texture. So the middle note here, the second note down, will become our alto part. So I'm just going to put that in, straight crotchets. Okay, so there we have it. And I'll make the bass part voice 2. And we're going to have the bottom note of the right hand B here. That's going to be our tenor part. Okay, so let's have a listen to it. It will sound just as the original did, but let's listen to it all the same. Okay, now thinking much more vocally about this, let's have a look at just a couple of issues. Let's pick the tenor part and just listen to the notes of the tenor. So we've got the B. Okay, and you'll notice here at the end we've got a C to an F sharp, rising up to the F sharp. So we've got there an augmented fourth. So that's a melodic dissonance. It's not ideal. Rising up like that, prefer to avoid it. So one thing we can do is adapt to our top-down method. We got these notes in the top-down method. Top-down method is a good way to get going. It's fine if you're doing a pianistic texture, but when you're writing vocal parts, once the melody starts getting a little bit higher, and we have different inversions, it's possible to get these awkward moments of dissonance, melodic dissonance, and it's possible that the tenor part could become too high or the alto part could become too high. So it can be possible, it can be the case that we want to change things around a bit. So what we'll do is just take these two notes. We've got an A and an F sharp. There's the A and the F sharp we had in the top down method. What we're going to do is just switch them round. Instead of the A being in the alto part, I'm going to put the A into the tenor part and put the F sharp into the alto part. So the A and the alto become the F sharp. And the F sharp and the tenor, I'm going to move down to the A down there. That creates a what I call much more balanced chord that is more equally spaced. You've got a fifth and a sixth and another sixth. So that will you'll find that's a little bit richer sounding. It also means that the individual melodic lines are less distant. There are no melodic distances in there. One word of caution: when you're doing this type of thing, moving parts around, do be careful that to check that there aren't any parallels being inserted. Now we know there are no parallels between the soprano and the bass because we checked that originally. Those haven't changed. We just want to check that there aren't any parallels between the alto, in this case the alto and tenor and the bass. They're moving in the same direction. So we've got a perfect fifth, C to G here, and we're checking that perfect fifth doesn't remain a perfect fifth, and it doesn't. There's A to F sharp, that's a sixth. So that's okay. We haven't created any parallels by moving the voices around. So let's have a little listen to that and see, or hear, I should say, hear how it sounds. So there we have it. That's very nice. One other thing we can do is take this note here, the C, and move it down to a G. Why am I doing this? It's for no other reason than it's quite common. If we do have the G here, what we have is the upper part, the soprano and the tenor, two parts moving in one direction, and the alto and the bass moving in the other direction. So a sense of contrary motion between soprano and alto, and a sense of contrary motion between tenor and bass. This is actually quite a common way of harmonising this 4B5 progressions, particular way of harmonising is the wrong word, voicing is the word I'm after, particular way of voicing the 4 first inversion chord going to chord 5 to create more of a sense of contrary motion. But again, you want to check there are no parallels when you're doing that type of thing. So let's listen to this to see how it now sounds.